Hey guys, Oscar here with Go Places Media Company. Today I'm here with my brother and we are on a journey to buy a new car to us. He drove all the way here from Tampa, Florida, and he wants to get a daily driver. So, what's the car that you're going to be looking for or possibly buying today?
All right, so we're gonna look at a 2022 Honda HR-V. This is the all-wheel drive model, which for us in Florida is rare. So it's gonna be interesting, and it's supposed to be in really good conditions. So we're gonna look at that, do an inspection that we do, and then we'll determine if we're gonna buy it or not. Should be a good deal.
And something that I want to present you guys with is that what to look for when you're buying a car. That is the main goal of this video. What to look for, what we should look for. My brother is pretty much an expert at cars and he has a degree in auto mechanics, so he has a lot of knowledge when it comes to cars. And my journey here is to actually learn in case I'm interested in buying a car and I want a good deal. I believe the Kelly Blue Book for this car is about $20,000, 20,500 around that area.
It varies depending on the zip code that you are. So here in the northern states, I was still in the south, but north of Florida, car seems to be valued a little lower than Florida. And the conditions seem to be a lot better up here as well. So here the value is probably in the 20s. Florida is actually probably 1,000 to 2,000 more. So coming up here and buying and then bringing it to Florida is actually a good deal.
And one thing that North Carolina has that Florida does not have is that here in North Carolina, we have the inspections. We have to take the car to be inspected every year. In Florida, they don't have that. They don't have to do inspections on the yearly basis. And every time I go to Florida, the cars are pretty messed up. So I hope that this is a good deal for him. And then when he takes it to Florida, he can drive it for a while. If he decides to sell it, that's up to him. But today we are going to learn on what to look for. All right. So stay tuned and let's go ahead and start the journey. All right. So Juan, this is the car that we are looking for, or that you're looking for to buy. Yeah.
Pick up women.
And this is the, what year is it again?
2022.
2022 is a Honda HR-V. And just on the outside, what should we be looking for?
Well, since most of the people look at cars by the looks of it and usually don't care about uh, what drives the car, you want to start with the exterior. One thing that you want to look at is make sure that the gaps all line up. So that would tell you if the car has been in an accident. So the gaps are very important. Look at all that. Also look if there is paint, like excess of paint. Like this right here, you can see something happened there. Then you look at the front, see there's a difference between this paint and this paint. Something also called orange peel. And you want to see if there's any excess of orange peel. That'll tell you that it's been repainted. There's another gap right here. And if you look at, for example, the hood, you measure that gap right there. And then you measure the gap on the opposite side. If they both
They're about the same.
seem
They're
the
close.
same, then that's pretty much lined
They're
up.
about the same.
So it's good.
So that's from the outside.
Yep.
And then if we pop the hood,
Let's see.
let's go ahead and pop the hood right here. Um, if we pop the hood,
All right, well,
what
you-
should we be looking for in the engine?
Now, this is the important stuff. Outside, yeah, it looks pretty, but here is where you want to see if there's something that may seem odd. First of all, radiator support. If the car's ever been in an accident up front, this is going to look odd. You're going to see, for example, the welts right there that they've probably been redone, or you're going to see some type of paste on top of them to help them recover from rust. As this right here, this is how it should look like from factory. So you can tell that's all factory right here. Also, sometime if panels that have been replaced, they will have some type of chalk marking that tells you that that is a used part that was installed. So you look for that. You look on the fenders, on the side, the headlights, things like that. There's also this right here. For example, you're going to tell that this has a marking that lines up with the headlight itself. That one has it. This one doesn't. So there is a good chance that this has been replaced. This more likely is a used part, and that is the original bolt. Then you look in here, if it lets you. Most cars don't have that option. You can see in there excess of paint, difference in color. I'll tell you that it's been repainted. It looks like no, we have that on both sides, and right here, all those stickers are important. That tells you, the car is still original, or the part is still original. Some cars have VIN numbers on them, but again, that's how it used to be. I don't know if the new cars actually have that anymore.
So what about like when we check the oils to make sure that the fluid is normal? Or
So that'll be like a
something like that.
stage 3 of the check. So you want to start with belt. See any cracks on the belt. Obviously, this one looks pretty good. You want to check the mount to see, like, for example, this looks to be a hydraulic mount. So you check for excess of fluid coming out, or type of grease or oil. You can pull out the oil dipstick here. See, the oil looks burned. This one looks pretty clear. Looks like it has enough. This is an automatic, so you can check for the transmission, but on most modern cars there is no way to check it. So not much we can do there other than drive it and see how everything looks. Check the filter, see if there's any type of foreign objects in there or residue of water. This one looks decent. There's nothing in there, no residue of water. That's good. That tells you the car has not been in a flood. And the rest of the wiring, for example, that looks like it hasn't been cut or redone. That's a good thing. And then check for oil leaks. You're gonna see like what looks like black stains. That will tell you there's an oil leak there. On this one, I do not see any. Coolant hoses look decent. Again, this is a 2022, so it's still gonna be pretty much new. And I do not see anything that can tell me
So
as far as in the engine bay.
This engine looks clean. Is that something normal, or do you think it was cleaned, or it's just like this?
No, this is like this. It's like the car's only 2 years old, so
Okay, so it's this clean.
it's gonna be this clean. You don't expect them to get all dirty until they start doing big maintenances and people put their dirty hands in them, or it starts leaking oil. So now let's check the windshield, make sure there's no cracks on it. There's usually a VIN number on them too. That tells you, not a VIN number, but a logo. It tells you there's an original. This one has it right here. That's a Honda. So it tells you that the windshield is original. This car does not have a sunroof,
But it has the rails.
but it does have the rails. Or well, yeah, it has the rails. You need the crossbars, and then you can put stuff up there. Open the doors. Look inside the doors. Make sure there's no type of bundle buildup. Now this right here is used when they try to fix dents. So more likely a dent was fixed. They actually drill a hole and they put a big rod. It goes as deep as it needs to be. They bang that out that way. It's a common practice. So over here, one thing I noticed before is that this sits deeper than it should. on both sides. And again, we look at the gaps. It looks like we do have a bigger gap on this side and then on this side. And obviously you see there that there's some type of bundle work that was done on that side. And the light does seem to sit a little lower. You see, it doesn't flow with the outside light right there.
Here.
So when we open the hatch, we look at those areas, and this right here looks like probably in this section right here, something happened. And you can see this is all bundle buildup. They do that because they can't repair the metal anymore, so they just cover it with bundle. This one is done terrible. You can tell this one's probably gonna flake off at some point. But that's what's done when they can't fix the metal, and they don't want to replace the entire quarter panel, because then you got to take off the welds, and it's a big job. So that's just a cheap way of doing it. Check the underneath here. If the car was ever in a flood, you're gonna see rust on here, or corrosion.
So there is some metal also. Like
Yeah.
that was the metal work.
So
that they
yeah, so that was probably part of the metal work that they did to correct the whatever happened in that zone. This right here doesn't line up, so who knows what's under here. Let's see if we can take this out real quick. So yeah, you can see that this was never repaired. So something happened on the back, and the car was wrecked from the back. This is not good. This devalues the car big time. And one thing that I can tell, I don't know if it's from factory, that this is black and this is white. So I have a feeling that was repainted black. And there's like white
markings.
White markings, yeah. So this is horrible. And these holes right here are not original. More likely they were made there to fix something else. But look, it was never repaired.
Those are very good things to look at, and not the average person does it.
Yeah, that's why it is important that you take your car to get an inspection at your trusted mechanic.
Right before you buy it?
Yeah, dealership will be probably the best ones because they know exactly what to look for. But somebody that you trust is the best thing they can tell you.
So possibly this car was likely hit from the back at some point?
Yeah, there was something that happened. More likely the hatch didn't get that much damage unless it was replaced. You can tell, for example, there is a bolt over here that doesn't belong. Like you can tell
Okay, yeah.
this is probably what it should have. And on this side, so probably the tail lights were replaced.
Okay.
It looks like this was removed and then reinstalled. So they might still not be lined up over here. You can tell that's not the original paint because the way it chips off.
Mm-hmm.
It tells you that it's not the original paint.
Well,
so let's go for
a right now.
Let's go for a drive and see how
Let's go.
how it drives.
I'm just amazed on how much space this thing has. I mean, look at the back seat. It has a lot of space. Oops. Has tons of space. This opens up. Well, it's a small car, but has a lot of space.
Yeah, let's see how it runs. One thing, as soon as you sit in the car, is look at the panels, the plastic panels. Do they look like they're off place? Are they loose? This one, obviously, so it looks like none of these panels have ever been removed. Everything looks like it should be. So I'll adjust the seat here, and we should have a power start. Oh no, it's actually a key. So it looks like we got 25.9, so almost 26,000 miles on this vehicle. Um, as far when I started right now, it feels like a Honda.
Well, you said it feels like a Honda. Is that good or bad?
So to me, Hondas, they have kind of like a economy feel. So I think what it is the way that the mounts are. They're probably stiffer than what I'm used to. So you get a little bit of the engine feeling in the rest of the car. Um,
So it seems like a door is open. Is it yours?
it might be the hatch because it doesn't have the sensor. Let me see. No, it's got to be the hatch. The hatch is too. It's probably missing the lock sensor. All right. So a couple of features that I know it has that brake hole, parking brake. It's missing the little cap that goes here. Usually if you see that it's missing this cap, one thing to look at, it means that the car at some point the battery was too dead, or the computer was not allowing it to go to get out of park. So that tells you that the car is probably being pushed around or towed for some reason. So you have to remove that to be able to move the shifter if the car has no power. All right, let's see.
No, I think it has to be one of the rear doors.
No, they're closed. Let's see.
You want to go highway?
Yeah.
Yeah, make a right. How's it drive?
So I don't know if it's the road, but I do feel a little bit of vibration on the front axles. So it could be a wheel or balancing. I also feel like some panel is vibrating here. I don't know which one it is. And again, for it to be a 2022, if the car is that new, it shouldn't have those things. So that tells you that more than likely some panel has been removed and it wasn't properly installed. To try what the car, when you turn on the AC, one thing you want to look at if the car starts vibrating or the engine starts vibrating. Just turn the AC and it didn't change. The RPM didn't drop. That's another thing you want to look at. If it does drop, that means that it's more likely it's pulling too much power from the engine itself. It could be a tune issue, or the compressor itself could have a lot of resistance. One thing I noticed, besides it being automatic, we do have the paddles over here, so more likely that's what the S is for on the shifter. And when you go to S, it should give you some type of indication that you're in sport mode and you can start using the paddles, which I do see sport and I do see manual first gear. So we're gonna test that. Let me go up. Trying to stay no more than 3,000 RPM for the shifting, which should be the usual for city driving on the automatic mode. and I'm already up to fourth gear. I'm around probably 2200 RPM at this moment. If you work this well, you can probably save some gas. But most don't. Plus, it's going to be a hassle of city driving with this, so most won't do that.
I think this panel was removed. This is the one.
Yeah,
That
I have a feeling like it's in the cluster area. So
Yeah,
more
right
likely the cluster was removed. One reason that could have been done is probably to reset something. More likely the car lost power, something needed to be reprogrammed, that needed to come out. So, but whoever put it back together probably missed a clip or something, and it causes that vibration. Now, I do want to say, I have worked on dealerships before, and brand new cars do get vibration like that. And what dealers would do is they get a piece of felt, and then they put that wherever they feel the vibrations coming from, and it makes a cushion. So you put the panel back together with that in between, and that clears the vibration. So sometimes if you take a car apart and you see like weird areas with those felt patches, and more likely that car brand new had a vibration and it was repaired at the dealership. So that's a little secret for you guys.
So, in other words, even brand new cars can have vibrations, huh?
Yes, and if people complain, that they will fix it for them. But most people, they just like live with it. They don't care. You gonna make it right? All right, so we're about to get in the highway over here, and we're gonna see how this thing rolls. Wow, it does feel like it's a small engine, not that much torque coming out of there, but I'm already doing like 65, and so it does get up there quick.
You know, another car that you should check is the Mazda.
Yes, they have a Mazda 3 actually that I'm being interested on, and I want to look at that, see what's going on with it, because seems to be a better value. Now, not every used car is gonna be in really good conditions. I mean, you know, there's a natural life for cars after a couple of years to have a couple of hiccups or incidents. But you want to make sure that you are getting what the value is of the car for the condition that it is in. So that's why, for example, if you go to a website and check for the values of the car, you're going to have poor, good, excellent. That will tell you what you should be looking at. This car, I would probably rate it as good. I wouldn't rate it as anything else above that. And the reason why is because the poor way that the rear end was repaired. That bundle was done probably by someone that didn't know what they were doing. It seems like the paint was probably done correctly, but the actual bodywork was done by somebody that was an amateur. Somebody did some drag racing over here and got sideways. All right, beautiful North Carolina. We are in Mooresville, right?
Yeah, Mooresville, North Carolina.
Mooresville, North Carolina.
Lake Norman. Now, for the value, let's say $19,000. Do you think this is a good deal for $19,000?
No, I think this will be worth a lot less because of the bodywork damage. Um, uh, you don't know what else you're gonna be getting into. If you're buying this car for yourself, just drive it, check the rest of the electronics, mechanicals, and everything is good. I'll probably be paying around 13 to 14 for it. But keep in mind that it needs some investments. As of right now, the detecting that one of the doors is open, obviously it's not. So that's something you're gonna have to invest on. Figure out which door is making that sensor go off, and then replacing that part. Um, I have a feeling that it has something to do with the hatch because that's where the body work was done, and it doesn't seem to be closing smoothly. So I have a feeling that that sensor more likely is disconnected, and could be as cheap as just connecting it back up and go. The brakes seem to be good. The engine transaxle seems to be good. So we didn't test the radio. Let's see the radio. It says power off. One thing to watch on newer cars, if the radio, if the power, you ever lost power, the radio could be requiring a code. So that's something that maybe the dealer's going to charge you for, unless you know somebody. But that's something to watch for. Seems like the radio is working fine. All the speakers seem to be working. The lights.
Okay, yeah.
I see we have USB connectors on the bottom. Those need to be tested. Let me see in here. Seems to be good. No dirt. Sometimes you want to look in here for like, sometimes people spill coffee or drinks and then I get all gunky, and that's a pain to clean. That seems to be missing the little shock that prevents it from just opening. See how it drops? More likely it's disconnected or missing. So that tells you that either the panels were removed, or maybe that's where the cabin filter goes and they forgot to connect something back up. Is something loose there? Yeah, so that's the little shock.
Yep.
That, because that should open smoothly.
So buying a car, it has a lot more. It's more than the looks. You have to look at so many things, make sure that it's working. A car is not an investment, but is some money that you're going to be spending, and you want the money to go as far as possible. Therefore, you have to look at all these little things that a car may have. Remember, it's not a brand new car, and it is used, but still, you're spending your hard-earned dollars.
So what I would say is set a budget. So for example, let's say your budget is $20,000 for a used car. You want to get the best thing that you can get for those $20,000. So either if you're going to spend the entire $20,000 in the car, you want to make sure the car is in excellent conditions, because you're spending the whole thing. You do not have money left for repairs or maintenance that needs to be done for you to start driving the car. So what I recommend, if your budget is $20,000, you have to get something that is a couple of thousands less. So let's say you find something around $17,000, right? But the car maybe needs a tail light that is broken, or maybe in this case the lock sensor that needs to be replaced, and the car is going to need maintenance. Going to need oil changes, filters, fluids, or brakes. So you want to make sure that you have aside a couple of grands or so to get that car up to spec for you to start driving it.
Now you also have to have some money for the insurance, so the down payment for the insurance that you're going to be putting the car in, right?
Yes. So depending on the insurance company that you have, or you already have insurance on another car, you're just gonna be adding it. But remember, that's gonna be an additional cost every month, or if you pay the whole thing at once. So you keep that in mind. It's not just buying the car and go. You still gotta worry about the tag. You have to worry about the registration or title and
Tax, also you have to keep in mind the taxes that you have to pay for the car.
Exactly. You have to pay taxes on whatever you pay for the car. So the lower the price of the car, the less you're going to pay in taxes. And depending on where you live, you may also have to pay for the inspection of the vehicle, the Department of Transportation inspection. For example, here in North Carolina, they have that. I think they're soon to get away with that, but in Florida, there is none. So you don't have to worry about that over there. And this is why a lot of cars in Florida are in bad shape.
That yearly inspection does make a difference. It does.
Yeah, what they look for is obviously your tires, whatever is going to keep you safe driving the car. Tires, make sure your lights are working, peek at your brakes, see any fluids leaking.
Pollution.
Smoke, yes, pollution, make sure you're not polluting. So those are the important things that they look for in those inspection. And if it fails, there's money to be invested in the car. So you have to keep that in mind.
So we have to check what happened with the. 1 second here. 1 second. Yeah, no, it's not my door. We have to go check and see what happened with the sensor. There's a sensor that is not working. So far, what is the verdict?
The car is mechanically is in really good shape, but the value of the car, it's probably where it's at with the conditions that it stands. So you're not gonna be able to get any more out of it. It is what it is.
How much are they asking for this car?
Right now they're asking 15 for it.
15. Okay.
Yeah, 15.
Right.
So
you think it's at
so the value of the car is probably that 15. I can see just looking at the outside, the rotors were just or they either
Replaced.
new. Yeah, it does have brand new brake pads. I'm looking at that.
Okay.
Just make sure that you have enough pad left.
Oh, yeah, brand new.
The tires look in really good condition. One trick that you can see.
Brand new pads and rotors.
So one thing that you can look at is, so tires can still look brand new, but they could be old. So
How's
average,
that?
so there is a date on when the tire was made. So if you look at DOT, it's gonna have some codes, and then this right here, which is like in an oval shape, it tells you that this tires was manufactured on the fourth week of 2022. So February 2000 or late January, February of 2022 is when these tires were manufactured. So more than likely, these tires could be the original ones, or by the looks of it, because the car has 25,000 miles, which is about the life of the factory tires. These are replacement tires. Now, you want to check that date on all the tires to see if they've been replaced at the same time. So that one back there is a Continental tire. This one right here has the same
It's the same.
date.
Same Continental. fourth week of 2022.
Yep. And then this one says fourth week of 2020. So this were all replaced at once. They're all Continental tires, Pro Contact, and they have plenty of meat left. Yeah, you can do the penny Lincoln check on them, but by just looking at them, I can tell there's plenty of life. So they've been replaced at some point, but these tires are from 2022. So by the time they're 5 years old, they tend to get hard. And once you start getting hard, you're gonna notice some cracking, especially on the edges of the tire. And even if the tires still have a lot of meat on them, you still have to replace them.
So let me ask you maybe a dumb question, but there's no such question, right? But
Right.
anyways, the size are the same, correct?
Yes.
What can I do to make it last longer?
So would you want to make sure that they're always inflated the same? Also, an alignment. You want to make sure that the car is aligned. So if you're driving it starts pulling to one side, you either low of air on one side or you have a bad alignment. So that's something that you want to check every time you go to your trusted shop. Make sure they do an inspection of the car. That's part of the inspections that they should be doing. Checking for tie rod wear, bushings wear, and such things like that. Too.
Oh, what about rotating the tires? Is that a good thing to do?
So
Since it's the same,
depending on
size.
depending on where you take your car, you want to make sure that you do the oil change and the rotation every so often. Usually in newer cars, they're done at the same time. That's if you actually drive in the normal miles. So every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, you should do oil change, obviously synthetic, and a rotation of the tires.
Excellent.
Okay, so
The Verdict.
so because of what the car needs, of what the car has been gone, of what the car has gone through, we decided we're not gonna get this car. Pretty much our checkup determined that the car is gonna need some body work to be up to specs, and there's also an issue with a door not locking or detecting that it's locked, which I'm thinking is the tailgate because everything else seems to be fine. We are going to pass on this car. That is the verdict. Be careful when you buy a car. Look at everything. Even if you go to a big dealership, a manufacturer dealership, you still have to look at, if it's a used car, you still have to look at everything. They will have something that has gone through something or has had a rough life. So be careful with that. Even though the car looks beautiful from the outside and it rides very decent, it's a 2022. The issues that it has will surpass the amount that the vehicle is worth. So be careful with that. Don't buy or get into something just by looks. Go deep. Have somebody that knows what they're looking at. Look at the vehicle and determine if you are buying something good.
Did you decide to go on another car, or what are you going to be doing?
So this place actually has tons of cars. We actually have purchased several cars from them, and a total of 5, as a matter of fact. And they do have a good reputation. So don't get me wrong. You can get a good deal here. We have decided to go with another car. We just ran the same checkup that we did on this car, and we determined that that car is worth the buy. It doesn't need anything or it doesn't need investment into it. It's pretty much just clean it and go. And the value of the car is where it's supposed to be at. So you have a car for a while. So we will reveal that car in a bit. What do we get? Stay tuned.
So we have the Verdict. He ended up getting a car. It was not the Honda HRV, but it is a Mazda 3. It's actually in great conditions for the price. Very, very good car. Let's go ahead and ask him. And just to go ahead and put a disclaimer real quick, if you guys need any help on inspecting a car, you guys can leave a comment below. And if you are located in Tampa, Florida area, please put a comment below and we will be more than happy to help you out. Okay, so we have the car here and let's see what's the verdict. All right.
So we bought this.
All right.
This is a 2016 Mazda 3, and this is fully loaded. We're talking about leather interior. We're talking about power everything, sunroof. We got the HID headlamps that were very popular during these years, and it's great. It even has the paddle shifters and everything. It is a really nice car. I think we got a good deal on it. They work with us, and it's good to have good relationship with your dealers and mechanic shops. And I think this is a great deal. I think we made a good deal over here, and we'll definitely be back and buy some more. All right, but we're gonna put this to the test because tomorrow we're gonna drive it for 10 hours back to Florida. Ultimate test. All right.